welcome back to my channel. Today is the start of the Let's Get Graphic readathon. I thought I would do a little vlog for you guys showing you all of the graphic novels that I am going to be reading during this readathon. I'm so excited because I have been wanting to do this readathon for years, but the stars finally aligned and I have my dream team of Keisha from A Book Like You and Elizabeth from Ponytails and Paperbacks to host this readathon along with me. It is a super chill, laid back, like low stress, no stress readathon that all you have to do is pick up comics, graphic novels, and manga for 24 hours. It is so much fun because I love graphic novels and comics. I only have read one manga series, but I do possibly want to start another one, so we shall see. But I wanted to go ahead and kick off the vlog with my TBR, just in case you happen to have missed it in my March TBR video. So I picked 4 for my official TBR, but I definitely think I'm going to get through these and be able to add others. So the first one is Snapdragon by Kate Leah. And I picked this one for an animal on the cover, in the title, or in the actual story itself. Next up, I picked Feelings, A Story in Seasons by 𝒍𝒊𝒏𝒌𝒔. And I picked this for my favorite color palette. Then I chose Mooncakes by Wendy Zhu, Suzanne Walker, and 𝒍𝒏𝒌𝒔 Gill. And this is for the prompt of a one-word title. And then finally, I chose City of Secrets by Victoria Ying or Ing. I'm going to be buddy reading this with Elizabeth from Ponytails and Paperbacks. So I'm very excited about all 4 of these. But like I said, I definitely have others on my TBR that I could grab as well. Tonight, we have reading sprints starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So who knows which graphic novel I'm going to be reading during that time, but I'm so excited. Let's go ahead and get reading. I think I'm gonna go ahead and read Feelings, A Story in Seasons right now, but this morning during my bagel and coffee, I already finished Snapdragon as well. So I will tell you about Snapdragon and I will tell you about Feelings after I finish this one. So let's go ahead and get the party started. All right, I had lunch and then I dove into Feelings, and like I said, I've already finished Snapdragon, so I want to share my thoughts on both of these. So I read Snapdragon this morning and I absolutely loved it so much. Not only did I like the art and the characters and the diversity and just the story, and like, I don't know, it was like, I don't know if it was like middle grade or if it was YA, because I don't know how old the characters are, but I think both audiences, like all readers, could enjoy this and take something from it. It's about a girl named Snap that is looking for her dog, and she's like, it's probably at the witch's house. So she goes to the witch's house, finds her dog, and then runs away. And then something the next day makes her return to the witch's house. And of course, the witch is not what everybody thought the witch was, or who everybody thought the witch was. And she ends up needing the witch's help. And the witch says, I'll help you if you help me. So I'm going to stop calling her the witch and start calling her Jax. So yeah, and she learns things about Jax, and she learns things about about herself, and there's lots of diversity in here, which I love. The majority of the cast in here is Black, and so I loved that, but there's other things mixed in there as well, like other bits of diversity that I want you to explore for yourself. It's such a good story about like friendship and believing in yourself. There is some bullying in here, but yeah, it's just, I love the color palette too. I just can't stop looking at it enough. But yeah, really recommend Snapdragon if you have not read it. I haven't written my reviews for either of these, so these are just kind of like my jumbled thoughts. And then, like I said, I just finished Feelings, and the artwork in here is absolutely stunning. Like, I will definitely be studying some of these drawings and flipping through this every once in a while. I loved the story, and I think if you have like seasonal depression, or you're just like an anxious type of person like I am, you will really resonate with this. The book structure is inspired by the 6-season calendar used by some countries in South Asia, which includes a monsoon season and, depending on the region, splits either autumn or winter into 2. So there's like, it starts with high summer, and then it goes into like the late summer, and you know, it goes from there, and it has the monsoon season and all of that. But I just really resonated with the beautiful graphics. Like, obviously is like eye candy, but the story itself and how you do like isolate yourself during certain seasons, and how you regret things, you know, in certain seasons, or you're like looking too far ahead, like, oh my goodness, I should be taking advantage of this because soon it's not going to be here, but I don't really, you know, enjoy it. Like, I don't know, it was just, it was so relatable, and the artwork went really well with the story. And also, even though it's just talking about the different seasons and it's kind of blocked off, it does tell an entire story as well, which I appreciated. Great, I just picked up my Starbucks order. I just needed a little pick-me-up because it's rainy and gloomy here today, and I'm not about that. I usually get tired when it's like this, and I don't want to get tired because I have graphic novels to read. So I picked up a brown sugar shake and espresso for myself, lemon loaf for Daniel, and the red velvet loaf for me. All right, friends, I am back from Starbucks. I got my brown sugar shake and espresso. I got my red velvet loaf, bread, I don't know. Let's open it, shall we? Let me. Looks like that. So let's try it. So good. I also got a package that I thought I could open up. I'm not expecting anything, I don't think, so. Oh, it's got a note. Marisol! I really enjoyed this middle grade graphic novel. Since you like middle grade graphic novels, I think you will like this book. I hope it arrives in time for the Let's Get Graphic Readathon. Marisol, are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. How cute. Smaller Sister. I've never heard of this. By Maggie Edkins Willis. Right there on the bottom. Oh my gosh. Lucy has always looked up to her big sister, Olivia. But then Livy starts to change, and Lucy discovers that her sister is not just growing up, she's struggling with an eating disorder. Now, with her family focusing on helping Livy, Lucy has to figure out surviving middle school, making friends, and dealing with a mean classmate all on her own. Will Lucy ever get her big sister back? With time, work, and a dose of self-love, Livy and Lucy begin to heal and find their way back to each other, because a sister is the one friend you can never leave behind. Oh my gosh, Marisol, thank you so much. Okay, that was so unexpected and so freaking nice. Marisol is just one of the nicest people I know. She's a patron of mine. She's a friend. We talk. I love her. Thank you so much. But yes, I need to fuel up. I need to eat this little snack that I have here, and I need to get reading because I'm adding this to my TBR and I'm making it happen. So we're gonna do mooncakes right now, then we're gonna do maybe this one, and then we're gonna do City of Secrets.
You might be the one that truly got me. I feel it too. You might be the one that truly got me. I feel it too. Got me. I feel it too. You might be the one that truly.
I just finished mooncakes and I really enjoyed it. It was so cute. It had lots of witchcraft and reading and spells, magical creatures and friendship and love and family. It was so freaking cute. However, I'm gonna rate this one 3 out of 5 stars because there was a friendship between Nova and Tam that wasn't really explored when they were younger, and so they're coming together later on. Like, there's obviously been a gap in time, and I know graphic novels like do have to skip around. They usually don't have that much time to explore like a novel would, but just a few more background details on their friendship and why they've been split up and stuff like that, I think would have really fleshed out the story. And also the ending was just kind of a little abrupt in my opinion, as far as like the epilogue and stuff like that. But I adored it. The art is gorgeous. I don't want to like show you too much, but I did really like this page right here. And so Nova lives with her grandmothers and they own this like bookshop, and there's this witchcraft room. So yeah, there's lots of like bookstore time and stuff like that. Yeah. So that was really great. I loved the coloring throughout this. It was really pretty. It did a great job of really making the characters like stand out. Here's Nova and here's Tam. I wanted to do a little check-in because I did indeed start Smaller Sister, which I received earlier today. I am currently on page 120, I believe. Yes, 120, so I'm here, and I'm really enjoying it. I mean, it's not a light, fun, fluffy like graphic novel. There is a content warning in the beginning, which I thought was so nice. It says, content warning, this book contains eating disorder thoughts and behaviors. So that is the main topic of discussion in here, but it's also about family and friendship and sisterhood and growing up and becoming your own person and fashion and boys and all of those things too. So I had never heard of this. So I'm so thankful that this came into my life because that subject matter is something that I'm very passionate about spreading the word about.
I feel it too.
Just finished Smaller Sister and I loved it so much. It had all of the parts that like made it a cohesive story. It had fun bits, it had sad bits. This is like a perfect middle grade graphic novel. I don't know what I'm gonna rate it yet. I'm thinking 5 stars, but I thought I was gonna give another book 5 stars today and then I lowered it down. Excuse my appearance, but I washed my face and it's a little splotchy because I had to really scrub it because I'm having some allergy things happening right now. I'm just looking at myself in my camera, sorry. So, all right, friends, sprints are over. It is 12:50 a.m. and I am very, very tired, but I still want to drink my dream tea. Is this what it is? The Tazo dream tea. So I'm gonna drink that before bed, and I wanted to just quickly touch on the things that I read during sprints tonight. But guys, sprints were literally so much fun and I got so much read, and there's so many memories that were made during those sprints. So thank you guys so much for showing up and reading with us. It was an absolute blast. I will never forget it. Okay, so I started the night, since I had finished Smallest Sister, I moved on to City of Secrets by Victoria Ng, and I buddy read this with Elizabeth, and I kind of feel the same way she does, that it's like, it's between like a 3 and a 4. I don't know if I'm gonna lean a 3 or a 4, probably a 3. I want it to be a 4, but it's probably a 3. I'm gonna reevaluate all of my star ratings after this because I've just read so much, like back to back to back, that I really haven't had time to let the stories marinate. But we live in this city where there's different levels or different classes of people, and this boy is an orphan and this girl is kind of like from a rich family, and they are taking over ownership of this switchboard building, like, you know, the old-timey kind of switchboards where they let me show you, where you like call and they, you know, dial you in to where you're gonna go. There's different switchboard stations. Anyway, so she comes with her father to kind of explore this building, and then she sees this boy and kind of chases after him, and this whole building is like this big puzzle. And there are some bad people in the city because there's like these 2 cities that are warring. And yeah, I just don't want to say too much, but it is like an adventure story. But I wish there was more like background on these 2 different groups. So it needed more background on those 2 groups. And yeah, other than that, there were definitely some sweet surprises along the way. Like one of the switchboard operators' relationship with her brother, and the coloring was really nice. And I liked the way that this whole building was like a puzzle, that sort of thing. But I think it's a 3 stars realistically. And then I moved on to Lore Olympus Volume 1. And if you were on reading sprints, you will know that like Greek mythology is not really my thing. It's been years since I have studied it in high school, and I think it was my sophomore year of college, a unit in my English class that I studied it. But I don't remember any of those people. I mean, I know Persephone and I know Hades because I know there's so many retellings. So they're very popular, so I know them for that reason. But all of these other people, I'm like, who are they? And they're all kind of related, and you don't know who's related and who's trying to sleep with who. But I did love the artwork, and I do like the slow burn between Persephone and Hades. And I don't know, like, so me and Jessie from Reading with Jess, we had the same thoughts about this one, and then she said she tried volume 2, but she's not gonna finish it because she was getting the same vibes. So I may not continue either, which makes me really sad. And because there was like more that I didn't like, because it also felt like there were just gaps in the story, and it was hard to have see an overarching plot. So I think I'm actually going to give this one 2 stars because I just thought it was okay. Then I picked up and started The Greatest Thing, which is a group of high school students. You have this girl who had her best friends always at her side. She had like 2 best friends, but then in their sophomore year of high school, they go to a private school, and she's going to the same school, and she's going to be there by herself. So she meets some new friends, and they're kind of like creative type friends. The thing I'll say about this one is I'm not really a fan of the artwork. Some of it I like, some of it I don't. Or maybe I'm just getting used to it, but I am enjoying the story so far. This one does have depictions of disordered eating and self-harm. It says that right here in this little content note right here. Happy Saturday, guys! It's almost the end of the readathon, but I'm here. I'm gonna make some coffee. I'm going to get set up because at 10 a.m. my time, I'm watching Jessie's February reading wrap-up from Reading with Jess. She does it where she shares all of her stats, her star ratings, the books that she read, what she thought, all of the fun stuff. She uses Storygraph to do that, but she also has her own spreadsheet that she uses. So I love that she combines the two. So I always try to tune into that. And she's going to try to do those every month, and she tries to do them the first Saturday of the month, usually in the morning, like at 10 or 11, so Eastern Standard Time. And then Keisha decided to do some sprints today, kind of like unofficial Let's Get Graphic reading sprints, because we had so much fun last night and we got so much reading done. But yeah, that's at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for me. So yeah, I'm just gonna make some coffee and get the day started. I'm hoping to finish probably like 2 more graphic novels, the one that I started last night, and then maybe 1 more. All right, friends, I'm about to hop on reading sprints with Keisha. I'll see you on the other side. Hello, you look so cozy. I love that shirt. Woo! A little too big, a little too personal. Yes. Oh my goodness. Round 2, let's go.
You say you don't wanna get in trouble, that you're doing fine cause you got me. I don't wanna break your little bubble, but you gotta wake up to reality. Cause I can see in your eyes, your head is full of dreams. Tears are a proof of failure, you just gotta let them flow without judge. There's so many ways to be happy.
All right, guys, I just read my last graphic novel for Let's Get Graphic. I actually read all of the graphic novels that I own except for 2. So I did not get to my last summer with Cass, but I think it will be nice to read it in the summertime because it takes place during the summertime, and the colors are really pretty in here. So I'm saving this for the summertime. And then I also did not get to Spy Family, which is the one and only manga I have on my TBR, my physical TBR, which is, you can kind of peek it right there. But Yeah, I think this will just take me a little bit longer to get into. But yeah, so these are really the only two that I didn't get to, which is wild that I read as much as I did. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to sit down for a little bit, and let me just show you the stack. So I managed to read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 graphic novels. Here's my stack. And I know I didn't like fully tell you my thoughts and feelings as I was going through them, because I was reading a lot of it during reading sprints. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clear off my desk. I need to do that first because it's kind of crazy. I'm gonna clean up a little bit. I'm gonna write reviews for all of these graphic novels, and then I'm gonna update you, and then we will wrap up this vlog. Let's talk about the 9 graphic novels that I read over the last 24 hours. So I guess I'll start at the beginning and just kind of recap everything. Like I said, I know I talked about some of these more than others, but it was a chaotic weekend, you know? Okay, so the first one that I read, Snapdragon, loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. I don't even know how to pitch it to you to make you pick it up. Just pick it up. It has so much diversity. The art was amazing. The characters were complex. I'm so sad it's a standalone, but it's about this girl named Snapdragon that befriends this witch in her town. They end up working together. She becomes an apprentice of sorts. And I don't know, it's like magical, fantastical. This is kind of what the art looks like. And I love the diversity, so pick it up. The next one that I read was Feelings, A Story in Seasons. And I initially thought like 5 stars, but I'm gonna give it a 4 stars because the art is absolutely stunning. I showed you several bits of art throughout this. And the art itself is actually what tells the story, but there is some text as well. I just wish there was more text, and for that reason I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. But if you deal with seasonal depression, sadness, anxiety, I highly recommend this one. Then I picked up Mooncakes, which was also a fun time. I really liked the magic and the family and the relationships and the friendships and, you know, all of that. I liked the art in this one as well. But there was just some things missing. So the relationship between these two when they were younger would have like, and their time apart, like why did they have that time apart and stuff like that, it would have explained a lot more and made it feel like you weren't in the dark of the past. You know, it feels like you were missing something. It was a little bit generic, it was a little bit predictable, but I mean, what do you expect, especially if you read a lot? And why were there no mooncakes? I never saw one mooncake in the entire Mooncake graphic novel. That's a problem. I also thought the ending was a little rushed, and we could have benefited from a little bit more of an in-depth decision what Nova decided in the end. Next up, my next favorite read of, so I rated that one 3 stars for Mooncakes, but then I moved on to Smaller Sister, which I got from Marisol, like unexpectedly as a gift, and I'm so thankful. I rated this one 5 stars as well. So Snapdragon and Smaller Sister are my only 5-star reads of the entire weekend. But Smaller Sister, it has so many themes and topics, and it's like done in such a digestible way, but it also explains everything really, really well. But it's about growing up, it's about learning about your body, it's about disordered eating, it's about, I don't know, just all of the things that girls go through around this age. It's all in here, and it's all done so well. There were a couple times where I wasn't sure I was like totally on board with the artwork, but this is kind of like what it looks like. But overall, like fantastic, and would definitely pick up something by this author illustrator in the future. And I'm just 5 out of 5 stars, you guys. You definitely got to pick it up. Then I picked up City of Secrets with Elizabeth on reading sprints, and initially I was thinking 4 stars, but I'm knocking it down to 3 stars because I also think there was just some huge parts of the story missing. Like, this one told a complete story and told you everything that you needed to know, whereas this one, there were these like 2 organizations that you learn about, well, you have knowledge of, but you don't learn about them. And I think that was kind of critical to the story, so you could get on board and know, like, okay, are they bad? Are they good? Like, it was almost like they wanted you to blindly trust or distrust one of the organizations, where I wanted more background about them. But the relationship between these 2 was really, really cute. And I really liked the switchboard facility and how like you could pull levers and stuff like that. It felt like an action movie with only the action scenes and no plot. So then I picked up Lore Olympus Volume 1, and sadly, this was not my thing. The reason why, I love the art, okay? I absolutely love the art. I love love stories. I do know who Hades and Persephone is. I'm very familiar with those 2. However, all of the other Greek mythology in here was like lost on me. It's been too long since I have had any of that knowledge in my brain, and the author wrote it in a way that like they assumed that you would know the characters. They weren't really introducing us to the characters. It wasn't like a traditional build-up of characters and learning about the characters. It was like, you should already know these characters, so I'm just going to say their name and you should know who they are. But that didn't work for me because I'm not familiar with these characters. So I felt like I was missing a huge part on the characters' behalf. And then as far as the plot, it was very like choppy because it is originally a webtoon, and I have found that when they're bound up in these editions, you expect it to be like a flowy story where it's really just like this scene happens, then this scene happens, and then this scene happens, and there's no transitions. So I do not think I'm going to be continuing on in the series. I rated this one 2 out of 5 stars. Not for me, but if you love Greek mythology, definitely check it out. Then I started The Greatest Thing as my last graphic novel of the first night of reading sprints, and I made it about halfway, and then I put that down. And then today I did reading sprints with Keisha in the morning, which wasn't planned, but we were just still having so much fun, so we decided to go ahead and do it. So we ended up buddy reading Over My Dead Body, and if you like that show Wednesday on Netflix, you absolutely have to read this. This is like Wednesday in graphic novel form. I feel like there's so many similarities, but this is about a school of witches, and one of the classmates goes missing, and then a group of her friends are trying to find her, but they're not supposed to go in the woods because there's this legend that there's this like monster and stuff. But I loved the art so much. It had these great autumnal tones and stuff like that. It had really good diversity in here. All of the witches had their familiars and stuff, and there is this cat in here, Seymour, that has anxiety just as much as I do, and I absolutely loved him. He's a Sphinx cat, but like here's one of the little froggy familiars. One had like a squirrel, one had a basset hound, one had a rabbit, one has a bird. Like, it's so much fun. I hope this turns into a series. I rated that one, I rated that one 4 stars. So that was like my 3rd favorite of the entire readathon. So then I went ahead and went back and finished up The Greatest Thing. And sadly, this one did not work for me. Initially, when I started reading it, I was like, ooh, this artwork is not my fave. So I wasn't into the artwork, but I usually don't like rate graphic novels, even though a big part of the story is the art. I don't usually rate the stories based on the art. It's just like a bonus, or it takes away from it. So I wasn't really like worried as far as my rating went, but the story just lacked the complexity that I think that it needed, tackling the tough topics like self-harm and disordered eating. It's about this girl named Winifred that is going into her sophomore year, and her 2 best friends have transferred out to a private school. And so in art class, like at the beginning of the school year in art class, she meets 2 friends, Oscar and April, and they become friends, and they start hanging out like around town over each other's houses. And And then they create this scene together, and they're like writers and creative people that like draw and publish and, you know, all of this cool stuff. But when it came to like the heavier topics, they just weren't dealt with. If it would have been without the heavier topics in it, and it was just more of like a coming of age tale, I almost think it would have been more powerful and a much better story. But because those things were put in there and it was just all sort of vague, like even some of the other scenes were just kind of vague, like something would happen and then it would just kind of be like, okay, we're not going to talk about that anymore type thing. Like it never got brought up again. So it left me feeling this like vague, empty feeling. So I rated this one 2 stars as well. And then the last one that I picked up on reading sprints, but then I had to dip out and I finished off screen, was Relish, My Life in the Kitchen by Lucy Kensley. And this is my second graphic novel by her. And I had the same problem in this one that I did in her first one, as there's so much text on the page. So there is a lot of text on every single page, and it's kind of smaller. I mean, that's a lot to look at over and over and over again. The only kind of breakup were these recipes, but I loved these illustrated recipes. But that being said, like how Feelings was so minimal, this felt so maximal. Is that even a word? I don't know. I'm losing my mind. But basically, I think it told a complete story, and I think all of the words and all of the art needed to be there. I just wish there was almost more art, so that the text could have been spread out more, and I felt like the reading experience would have been a little bit more pleasant. But I almost just felt like I was reading a textbook and just like walls and walls of text, you know. But this is her relationship with food. It's like a graphic memoir, being surrounded by food from a young age, and how like her parents cooked and their relationship with food and her relationship with food, and all of these like food memories, and her family and working, and her mom working in these kitchens. And there's different chapters. So let's see, let me give you some examples. So there's this one about, it's called Tough Cookie, and it talks about how her mom, oh yeah, they had these like chickens. So her mom was making all kind of like omelets, scrambled eggs, huevos rancheros, fluffy strata, quiche, homemade mayo. But then when she had exhausted her savory egg dish repertoire, she went into a baking frenzy, churning out sweets as fast as the hens could lay. Macaroons, flourless cake, ginger snaps, dulce de leche. And then she wanted chocolate chip cookies. So her mom hands her the cookbook. So then it talks all about like all the different kind of chocolate chip things that she would make. So there was a section like that. And then there was a section about, let's see, junk food, and about how she loved like all of, you know, the traditionally processed type stuff. The apple doesn't fall far from the cheese. But it does say that Lucy Kensley's mouthwatering graphic memoir will make you hungry. I can confirm I was starving for some good food after this. So, you know, reader beware. But anyway, I ended up rating that one 3 out of 5 stars, and I definitely think if you are a foodie, love food, you need to read it. But that wraps up my graphic novel, Let's Get Graphic readathon 24-hour fun time. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for participating. Thank you for you know, all of the Instagram messages and pictures and hanging out with us on reading sprints and all of that fun stuff. Stay tuned for more details in the next round. And yeah, I hope you guys are having a great day or night, and I'll see you guys again in another video very soon. Bye, friends.